Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Hope you guys are having another awesome day. Rick coming back at you. And in today's video, we're going to be starting a new series, actually. I think that it's important to understand that when you have goals, you want to track the progress of those goals. And for me, the next logical step goal in front of me is having $100,000 in assets saved. And I wanted to be able to track that journey from a standpoint of why I'm making the decisions I'm making, but also how I'm getting there as well, so that you guys can see where we're at. Because it's not just this thing where you make a good investment and then everything goes up. There's bad times too. But it's important to stay diligent, stay focused, and know that you're gonna get there. So I thought it might be beneficial to start a series of getting to $100,000 in savings and exactly how I'm doing it. So I'm gonna show you step by step exactly how I've gotten where I am right now. And then also we'll track the journey along the way until we get to that magical $100,000 mark. But before we get into today's video, you wanna make sure that you are subscribed and that you have that bell notification on, because I'm always dropping content surrounding money. Whether you're interested in saving, paying off debt, or investing, this is the channel for you, because I'm teaching you how to do this stuff from a holistic standpoint. I'm doing things and making some mistakes, and I'm showing you and educating on those mistakes so that ultimately you learn from what I'm doing. And if what I'm doing is something that you want to implement in your life, now you have the resources to do so. And if not, at least you learn from somebody who did make the mistake. Now you don't have to make the same one. So let's go ahead and get into today's video. So let's start by talking about where I started, because before I started investing, I was somebody who I didn't really know anything about the stock market, about like real estate or crypto or anything like that. I was winging it, to be honest with you. And what ended up happening was actually kind of interesting, to say the least. And that was, we had the pandemic. Now, the pandemic was the real life event, but I, behind the scenes, prepared for it, and I didn't even know that I did. And what I mean by preparing for it is I had money saved up in my bank account. Now, today I know better that having money saved in a bank account probably isn't your best thing, but at that time, I had money saved for a rainy day. And what ended up happening was the stock market, when the pandemic hit, it just totally tanked. And the thought process I had to myself when the stock market tanked was, if these stocks go back to where they were pre-pandemic, then I'm going to get a really good return on investment. So that was kind of my thought process. Now, what I started to look at was, number one, I had a company I was really interested in at the time, which was Tesla. And I think that one dropped to like $300 or $400 a share, something like that. So I ended up picking up 3 shares of that. But the other thing was travel. What I saw was that travel was way down. We're talking oil, we're talking Boeing was down, we're talking Carnival Cruise Lines was down, companies like this. And they were down like 60 or 70%. So I realized that at that time it was important for me to invest in those companies, because it was only a matter of time before the world opened up again. And it was going to go back up to the levels it was at before. So I ended up picking up shares of oil companies. I think I picked up 2 or 3 shares of Boeing. And then I picked up some Carnival Cruise Line as well. So I wanted to preface that before we get into these numbers, because that's really where it all started for me. It started with this dumb luck, if you will, where I had money just on a whim that I was saving for emergency purposes, and an emergency, I guess you can say, popped up with the pandemic, and I kind of just seized the opportunity and bought some stock. So that's where it started. We are going to talk about some other things in here, like crypto, and then also I have like my retirement plan, my 401k, things like that. So we'll go through all of those numbers, but I wanted to start there because that's actually where my journey started. So if we look at where my stock portfolio is right now, it is at, and this was at the time that I tracked it last, it was at $21,738.11. Now that's only with me starting with about $4,000 or $5,000 in that area, is about how much I invested into the stock market. So again, all dumb luck. That's like 4 or 5 times your money. That's not common that happens, but That's just the way it so happened with myself. So that's how I got where I am from the stock market standpoint. Now, the 401k, this is something that I've just been contributing to since I've been with my employer, so I've just taken advantage of that. Right now, that's sitting at $5,858.65, and I'm just regularly contributing to that, so that's kind of an out of sight, out of mind type savings. I also do have money in crypto right now. At the time of recording, $8,285.02. Crypto was something I started looking at because I saw that the stock market really wasn't doing too much. There was a lot of uncertainty in the economy, so I needed to hedge against it, which is why I went into crypto. And then ultimately, I still do have my savings at the time of recording. It was about $1,870.18. So that's where I'm starting from right now, which gives us a grand total of about $37,751.96. So what's the goal moving forward outside of the $100,000? How am I going to get there? So right now, I'm not going to go too heavy into the stock market. I know that the Google and Amazon split is coming. I believe the Amazon split's coming in July and the Google split is coming in June. So I'm probably going to participate in that, but I haven't bought those stocks yet, only because I have a feeling that the stock market's going to go down a little bit. But that's forecasted on the horizon as well. If you can get 19 extra shares of a company like Google or Amazon, why not? So that's definitely in the plans. Also moving forward, obviously my 401k, I'm going to continue to contribute to that. The crypto market is something I'm very heavily invested into right now. I'm actually dollar cost averaging into that, and I'll show you what that looks like right now. Perfect. And then also, obviously, I have savings right now that are growing as we speak, but also I'm going to be using that money to reinvest as well into other assets to get a better return on investment than what I would get in my actual account itself. So that's what my plan is, to get to the $100,000 moving forward. So I hope that this helped you guys. I wanted to just show you where I'm at. And remember, this is the first part in a series until we get to that 100,000 mark. And I'm going to track step by step exactly what I'm doing to get there, so that you guys can see exactly the actions that I'm taking, my thought process behind it, and then ultimately just see, what it's like to invest in the ups and the downs, because you can't always expect to have these fantastic returns like I was getting in the stock market. Sometimes you're going to get the lows too. So I wanted to be able to share this holistic story with you. But if this is information that you find helpful, and of course you want to track my journey, make sure that you hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell notification. Other than that, I do want to thank you guys for tuning in today's video, and take care.